there, good morning. It's 6 o'clock. We're with you all the way through until 9, with Kate joining me from 6:30. First, our top story. Prime Minister Boris Johnson is set to announce a bespoke resettlement scheme for those most in need in Afghanistan, following the Taliban's dramatic takeover of the country. Downing Street say that the Prime Minister will offer more information about the scheme in coming days, but the programme will be focused on helping the most vulnerable and women and girls in particular. Well, let's speak to our correspondent at Kabul airport. We can see the scale, the number of Afghans who are keen to escape. Do we know yet more details about how many people will be allowed to be granted refugee status and how that would work?
Morning, Charlotte. No.
Of Afghanistan, he says he stands squarely beside it. There's been criticism here of that decision, though. What do they make of it there? What's been the reaction to what he said about this? And since then, things have escalated further. We've seen those heartbreaking pictures of people at the airport desperately trying to flee. We've seen those planes overloaded. For you, what is the situation there at the moment? Bring us up to date with the latest. Now, a minute's silence was held in Plymouth as hundreds paid tribute to the 5 people killed by the gunman Jake Davison on Thursday. Now, campaigners are calling for the UK government to abandon plans to develop a new oil field off the coast of Scotland, accusing ministers of hypocrisy as the UK prepares to host the 26th UN Climate Conference in Glasgow. Our correspondent, Juliet, what can we expect from this, Juliet? Hospitals in parts of the United States are overrun with patients as COVID cases across the country soar. In Mississippi, cases have risen more than 2,000% in the past month. Well, Dr. Hillary spoke with Dr. Anthony Fauci. He's the president's chief medical advisor about the situation in the US and his views on the UK's response to the pandemic. Well, Dr. Hillary joins me now. Good morning, Hillary. I mean, it's really fascinating, isn't it, to get an insight into how things are working in the US from their perspective as well, and worrying that they're seeing this spike in hospitalisations.
They are.
The situation with children, how concerned they are there, because they're seeing an increase in hospitalisation of children, the children in ICU. OK, Dr. Hillary, thanks very much. I know we'll be speaking to you about that again shortly, won't we? Thanks.
Thank you.
OK, it is 6:15, time for the weather now. Alex is in North. Good morning, Britain's here all the way through till 9. Kate will be joining me from 6:30, and that's coming up. But first, let's get the news, travel and weather where you are. See you in just a moment. Hello again. Now, thousands of people in Afghanistan are now fearing for their lives and have gone into hiding after the Taliban took control of the country on Sunday. We spoke to one man who fled his home along with his family, and he explains the changes that he's noticed in just 24 hours of Taliban rule. For his safety, we can't reveal his identity or his location. In Afghanistan coming up throughout the programme this morning. In the meantime, 6:23, Wilton Jovu's here now, and he has a big announcement regarding soccer. Much for all of that. It's very exciting. Coming up next, Kate will be joining me, and the news is we've got an even bigger soccer aid reveal coming.
Good morning. It's just gone 6:30. Welcome to the programme. What distressing scenes unfolded, didn't they, yesterday? It started here on the programme, and as the day went on, everything that our contributors, everything that people on the ground were saying they feared would happen, happened. Fear, the absolute fear, whatever anybody says, there was pure terror and scenes of families trying to lift little girls over walls to get into the airport, terrified. Of course, regret it. He's saying we were never there to nation build, actually. We were just there for counter-terrorism. And as far as he's concerned, that's it. It's mission over. If the Afghan army aren't prepared to stand and fight, then what? To say, here's some of his words from yesterday.
I did admit there that it had taken him by surprise, the speed that all this has happened.
But also the aim, Charlotte, wasn't it? The aim of going in, from the American perspective, was 9/11.
But also from the terrorism point of view, we know that there have been so many of the terrorism elite prisoners that have now been released from the prison.
But the most important
in Afghanistan, we're going to be speaking to a former Marine commander who lost his arm and his leg, and for them, it's bringing it all back and making them question what those sacrifices.
And John
were for.
Simpson, of course, who was there when Kabul fell, and it looked like a new dawn, and he said he never thought he'd see the Taliban back. and he wakes up this morning to this. So we'll talk about that all morning. Dr. Hillary's here.
Actually, and the consequences of it. Something that we must mention is the fact, because you've obviously got first-hand experience of dealing with the aftermath of coronavirus and what that can mean for someone with
logistics of how that might work. But
let's hope so.
Whatever. I mean, there's some brilliant people in the category. I don't think there's some fantastic documentaries. I don't think for the moment we'll win, but it would just be lovely for him to be there.
That would be wonderful. It would be so beautiful.
It'd be wonderful. Yeah, I'll start planning how that might work.
We'll say our prayers for you.
We'll say our prayers. Yeah.
And we should also Piers Morgan, who has been nominated as well. He's made the shortlist.
The last time that there was a proper ceremony, wasn't it?
Yes.
And it didn't win, and he was very cross. So we'll see if he comes this
Maybe
time
this will be
and see if he wins. It'd be very good.
He's permanently cross.
There's lots of good people in the category, but we love you, Piers. Now, lots more still to come, including our big reveal of the new world coach for Soccer Aid and one of Game of Thrones' most recognisable stars, who is utterly evil in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But it's very nice in real life. We're hoping.
It's a bit different.
You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV.
Competition time now. It's your chance to win £95,000 in tax-free cash. Here is Andy with the details. Yes, good luck. Now, here is Alex with the weather in North London. Good morning, Alex. I know you're preparing to undertake something quite spectacular, aren't you, this morning? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling very, very nervous, Charlotte. I'm holding on for dear life.
Good morning, Britain. Nice to see you. It is just gone 7 o'clock.
Now, our main news this morning, Prime Minister Boris Johnson is set to announce a bespoke resettlement scheme for those most in need in Afghanistan following the Taliban's dramatic takeover of the country. Downing Street say that the Prime Minister will offer more information about the scheme in coming days. The programme will be focused on helping the most vulnerable and women and girls in particular. No, these things aren't for you. There's no shame in that. I tried my best. Didn't quite work out, so don't expect me to be doing any abseiling in the near future.
I can just imagine. Does somebody want to rescue Charlotte Hawkins? I'll do it! I'll do it!
No, the trouble is, I've said to her I will do it with her, so now I've got to do it as a challenge. So you have to give me some tips.
All right.
Yeah.
Don't know. Now, look, this is great fun. Mark Wright hit our screens as a heartthrob with a tan and fabulous teeth on The Only Way is Essex, and that was 10 years ago.
It was, wasn't it? And since then, he's gone on to present entertainment news in the US. He hosts his own radio show as well, doesn't he?
And he's also a huge fitness fanatic, so it comes as no surprise that Mark has decided